Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Chris Hossfeld on the line. He's founder of Barrel Strength Leadership. Chris, welcome to the show.
Great. Thank you for having me, Adam.
All right, Chris. So lots to talk about today. So we're going to get into experiential leadership, explored through staff rides globally. So I understand you're working with leaders worldwide and going on these trips, and they're learning real time in locations. And we're going to get into that content, what that's been like, and also how you got started in this. But just to get us kicked off, we'll start this episode the way that we start them all, with what we like to call our Mission Matters Minute. So Chris, at Mission Matters, our aim and our goal is to amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's what we do. Chris, what mission matters to you?
Well, I spent 27 years as an Army officer where I led from the small unit all the way up to the enterprise level across different parts of the Army, including teaching at the senior professional military education level, and now also reviewing emerging technologies and innovations. And my core belief is that leadership is dynamic, personal, and something to develop in others. I always hated 1 to 1,000 person PowerPoint lectures or trust falls.
Yeah.
And all of my successes come from those leaders that invested in me and the subordinates I invested in. So this is about experiential, immersive leader development, mentorship, and team building events on important battlefields across the globe.
Amazing. Love bringing mission-based people in the line to share why they do what they do, how they're doing it, and really what we can all learn from that. So good to have you here. First thing first, Barrel Strength Leadership, the name of the company, where'd that come from?
So in the Army, there's a couple of different things. One, we may enjoy a good beverage. So I believe, and one of my favorites is unfiltered or barrel strength whiskey.
Is it cast strength is the same thing?
Strength is the same thing.
I had a feeling, but I'm like, wait a minute, maybe this is some other fancy military term.
It's really the same thing so it's undiluted, right? It's not filtered. It's not watered down. It's full of character. I think that leadership is the same thing, but also what does the barrel of a rifle do? It provides direction and velocity, right? And so pairing the two up, I thought was a pretty good thing. And I also believe that sometimes our greatest insights come over a glass of our favorite beverage.
I love it. It's great. Good stuff here. I had to get that one out there because as I was preparing for this, I'm like, man, is this like cast strength, barrel strength? I'm like, it's got to have some play on this. And that's awesome.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, when you obviously your military background, leadership, these were all interests of yours. As you were kind of like thinking about what would be next and founding Barrel Strength Leadership, a lot of different directions that you could have gone in terms of how you were going to create your programs, how you're going to deliver. I'm not saying one's right or wrong versus another, but I mean, in general, how'd you come up with this concept? Well, maybe first start by defining what a staff ride is, but then like, how'd you know that this was going to be like your niche, like this was going to be your thing?
So staff rights are part of what is embedded in the Army, in particular in professional military education. It was something I had to do while I was in college as part of my ROTC program. Go and visit a battlefield. But what I found in doing that is the lessons that we were learning in the classroom started to become very real. And so my last job in the Army was teaching at the Army War College in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, only 45 minutes from Gettysburg. And from there, I had the opportunity to do the Gettysburg staff ride every year as part of the curriculum, where you take and you kind of dissect the decisions, relationships, the communication, the technology of the day, and look at it through the lens of today to kind of help project yourself. What are the things that are going to make me or my organization successful? And seeing people and my clients now saying things like, I have heard that taking care of your people or knowing your people is important. But until I got here, I couldn't really put it together.
What do
And
you think, going back to those early days, something that you said, I wanted to make sure I caught that. Like, what effect do you think the staff riots had on you, like personally?
personally, it made history come alive, right? And
Mm,
so
I,
it became this emotional attachment, not only
mm,
to the leaders, the units, the events that
mhm,
happened, but then helped me anchor my thinking about leadership. What
mm,
information would I need to make a decision? Would I have made the same decision in the same
yeah.
situation? And then that helped me in my military career and in combat when I was doing things. I had
Mm,
a whole new kit bag to reach into,
mm,
new set of tools to be able to think about the situation I was in and what worked in the past or examples of what didn't work.
yeah. Yeah. What's interesting to me about even just this concept is when we hear the word a lot like experiential, we think about things like, or at least where I'm at in Los Angeles, we think about things like concerts. We think about concerts and we think about different events and different art exhibits and things like that, where you're kind of like immersed in this experience. And we know that, not, I won't say intuitively, but at this point, I think people are pretty adept to it, especially after COVID. Like we know like that the in-person experience is something different than virtual and or connecting in different ways. We just know that now, and being and now we know kind of the power of a concert, things like that. And if you think about a great concert, like I get to remember when I, seen Bob Seger for the first time and I was young. I'm like, come on. I'm like, let's do it. Come on. So like, if you think about a great concert, if you can remember a great concert 10, 20, I don't have one that I was like 30 years ago, but at some point, hopefully I will, but 30, 40, 50 years ago, people can remember that. Then that's where my head went when I was thinking about this. Like if you could connect that same concept of experience and remember a lesson in leadership because you were boots on the ground in a place where a historic moment happened, like, wow, what could that mean for your business? What could that mean for the lenses at which you help and guide your team? Like it's amazing. Am I missing this? Like I want to
No,
make sure I got
this
this.
is that's exactly what this is about. You may have heard about the battles of Normandy, right? The
Yeah.
invasion of France to liberate Europe.
Mm-hmm.
You may have watched Saving Private Ryan. You
Mm-hmm.
may have watched Band of Brothers, right? Tom
Mm-hmm.
Hanks, Steven Spielberg, and you're watching the 101st go through Europe.
Yeah.
But standing there and seeing it, you're able to connect those emotions you felt in watching the movie, and it
Mm.
suddenly the scale changes for you. The
Yeah.
impact of those decisions or what happened in that location
Mm-hmm.
really transformed you
Mm-hmm.
into, wow, okay, this is what has happened before.
Yeah.
What can I take from that? And it really connects that emotion, which
Mm.
I think is different than just reading a slide or having someone talk to you. I think it's just
Mm.
it makes the learning so real.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, by the way, you're doing it in an incredible place, France, Belgium,
Yeah.
Netherlands, Italy, Gettysburg, Pearl Harbor, you know, uh, those are pretty cool places.
Mm. I want to circle back to the places part, but before we do that, and I got questions, trust me. But before we do that, let's go a little bit further into leadership. I mean, I know you've led in some high pressure environments. Can you share a moment maybe from your military and or teaching career that taught you some lessons on leadership?
Y Yes. My first time really in combat, first few days in combat,
Mm.
you're now responsible for an area, and we were doing an operation. Um, it's our first real one, and it starts, and immediately I hear gunshots.
Wow.
And the thing going through my mind as the leader of this company, I've got
Mm.
130 plus people that I'm responsible for, is
Mm.
I'm thinking, oh my God, I just killed my first soldier.
Oh.
That's that is what's going on. And every fiber in my body is telling me to jump on the radio, find out what's going on,
Mm.
tell me the information. And instead, I took a moment to pause, realizing that that might not be helpful right now.
Yeah.
And I'm still inside screaming. But then I have a 19-year-old come on the radio, who's the radio telephone operator. He's the guy on
Mhm.
the radio communicating for his leader, who gives a very clear, concise report in a
Mm.
calm voice. And that 19-year-old calmed me down, allowed
Wow.
me to be a leader. And
Mm.
so that just that just anchors for me the role of patience of a leader. What's it
Mm.
How do you find that person that's going to help calm you down? Who's going to
Yeah.
help provide you the right type of reporting in
Yeah.
the way that matters to you so that you can make a decision?
Mm. What separates leaders who hold steady in crisis and maybe those who don't, or like who crumble or fail? Like what separates them?
I think it's their ability, and probably got more failures than I have successes.
Mhm.
Um, is that those that are able to clearly communicate
Mm.
what they're thinking, what they need to make a decision,
Mhm.
um, their ability to empower others to make decisions when they aren't available,
Mhm.
and their relationship with others.
Yeah.
And what I mean, it's not only their relationship with their subordinates, it's their
Mhm.
relationship with their superiors and their peers.
Mm.
All of that is those that are able to find the right balance of those in the situation.
Mhm.
I think that is what sets leaders apart when
Mhm.
crisis happens.
Yeah. Before we get into, because I do want to go further into some of these locations and where you're traveling to, but before we do that, I want to talk a little bit more about like your process and
Mm.
like how you develop the curriculum that you're going to actually deliver. Like talk a little bit about again the process and the actual content that people receive as they go to these different locations.
So yes, so the content wise, I
Mhm.
I'm a bit of a history nerd, so
Yeah.
I do research on the battles. I do research on
Mm.
specific actions that will help reinforce either key things that I think leaders should know,
Mhm.
or to reinforce what my client wants to get out
Yeah.
of it, whether they're timeless principles of leadership or whether it's something specific that they are looking for. Maybe they're struggling with processes. So I might
Mhm.
dive a little bit deeper into that at a location. And so
Mm.
what I do is then I prepare a very short booklet that will have then about a page uh, of information about what happened at that location, maybe and along with some pictures and maybe a map,
Mhm.
because everyone learns differently. Some people want to anchor themselves in where it is locationally or connect to the person or to see it
Mhm.
as it was. And then I will put two or three kind of leading questions to
Mm.
that site. And then I then sequence the
Mm.
locations on the battlefield. They may not go sequentially.
Yeah.
Um, for Gettysburg, I call it the Quentin Tarantino version. I start with Pickett's charge. Let's go to the end, and then
Yeah.
what are all the things that happened to make this real?
Mm.
To make Lee believe that this is the right answer
Mm.
for what to do.
Yeah.
Um, and so I then will then sequence them in a way that they're reinforcing of each other, that they help
Mhm.
build it together, and then have time for us to talk about what it meant. What did you find
Mhm.
interesting? What didn't you expect out of the stops of the day that
Mhm.
help reinforce the lessons, right? Because I want people to take it and modify it for themselves rather than here is the book answer.
Mhm. Yeah. I see that, and let's get into the locations, because I understand you're traveling, and then I think you have one coming up as well in Belgium coming up, right?
Yes.
So maybe if you want to start with other locations, if you want to dive right into Belgium and the plans for that, like however you want to take this, but I want
Yeah.
to get into some of these locations.
So the first location is Gettysburg. So
Hmm.
lots of businesses have interest in the federal government, and so the
Hmm.
ability to go there, they're going to do a big meeting in and around there, or maybe that's where their headquarters is. It's
Yeah.
not that far away. It's important in American history,
Hmm.
um, and it's a very condensed battlefield, even though it takes part over 3 days.
Hmm.
Um, the next one that I started doing was Normandy, France.
Hmm.
Um, I loved thinking about the invasion of Normandy. Saving
Yeah.
Private Ryan came out when I was a young lieutenant, made an important impact on me. But I also served in the 82nd Airborne Division and the 101st Airborne Divisions, which really gained a reputation in the
Yeah.
Normandy invasion. So it connected me to my own personal history.
Hmm.
And the Netherlands is the next one I've done, which is Operation Market Garden. You may have heard
Hmm.
the phrase, it's just a bridge too far. Yeah.
Hmm.
Arnhem, it's a series of bridges and it's a failure. It's a strategic failure, but it has lots of tactical successes. So I think
Hmm.
you can learn from failure. And then my next one is Bastogne, Belgium. Many
Hmm.
people know about the Battle of the Bulge or the reputation of the 101st. And I think that it is a great opportunity to delve into things like resiliency,
Hmm.
resiliency of the individual, resiliency of the organization. What does grit mean to
Hmm.
you for
Yeah.
your organization? And I'm really looking forward to uh, the new one we're offering, which is Western Italy. Let's
Hmm.
go down around Naples, up through, people may have heard of Monte Cassino, but up through to Rome, and let's talk about the role of religion in ethics.
Hmm.
What does that mean? How does that impact the way we do things? How has it impacted us over history?
Hmm.
How do we look at culture uh, in conflicts?
Hmm.
Uh, I think that they're very exciting ways. And then, oh, by the way, you get to eat the food, you get to smell, you get to see it. The temperatures, even, right? Is it high humidity versus low? It takes you to a different place. And I find that
Hmm.
just so much fun.
What are the size of like of these groups? Like, give me some concept on that, like size and logistics.
So I think if a group is going to do this, if they're going to pay for barrel strength leadership to put this together, that they probably need a minimum of about 8 people to make it really a viable
Yeah.
thing. But I have done groups up to 30.
Hmm.
Where I'm taking college students in Army ROTC or Air Force ROTC or others, uh, to include history and political science majors,
Hmm.
business majors. So it really depends on what that client wants. Are they
Hmm.
developing new managers, right? Coming
Yeah.
from being an executor to a manager? Or are they taking managers to becoming executives? Or is it
Hmm.
something that they want to do where they're partnering their company leaders with their clients,
Yeah.
right? Businesses that have clients in Europe. I think that that's an exciting way to make it a team building, and how each
Mhm.
think about information, communication, relationships. I think that that can be a very powerful tool to taking them to that next step.
Mhm. What's your favorite part about doing this? About taking individuals and groups, I should say, on these staff rides? Like, what's your favorite part about like being involved in this process?
The evenings and the end. Believe it or not, the evenings, because over dinner, we're having real conversations about what we learned. How did it impact them? And
Yeah.
we're not doing it in a formal way. We're doing it
Mhm.
over food. We're doing
Mhm.
it over, a little bit of time, a little bit removed. And then the second night where they're like, this then connected me to something you said on day one that I didn't really get, but now I get.
Mm.
And then at the end where they're saying things like, if I'd only had a history professor or a history teacher like you, I would have enjoyed history more. Um, but where they're saying, this is how it mattered to me.
Mm.
That's the fulfillment I get. That is
Yeah.
just really so incredible. And I learn from each of them because they each bring their own unique perspectives to leadership.
Mm.
Uh, and it enriches me and it makes every single one of these that I do just a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, Chris, this has been, first off, great having you on the show and learning more about Barrel Strength leadership. I mean, what's next? What's next for you? What's next for the company?
So next for me and next for the company is two things. I have is June,
Mhm.
the anniversary, the 82nd anniversary of the Normandy invasion. I'm putting
Mm.
together several opportunities for companies to be able to do that. And I think it's a great way where you start to see the soldiers and the people coming in. You start to see the
Mm.
decorations. You get the feel of the time frame.
Yeah.
But also, I'm pulling together these stops and my thoughts that I put on my LinkedIn
Mhm.
under Barrel Strength. And we're going to publish a book that's going to take these themes, a historical example, some of my personal, like I'm talking about, you know,
Mhm.
the specialist who's a great art radio telephone operator, helping me think through stuff,
Yeah.
and then asking questions about innovations and technologies and how
Mm.
are they going to impact our ability to make decisions or execute what we want to do as businesses or whatever your area may be for
Mm.
the future.
Yeah. Chris, how do people follow up? How do they learn more about working with you and your team?
Well, obviously, we've got a great LinkedIn. I'm going to start with the LinkedIn because the
Yeah.
LinkedIn I think is doing really well uh, in showing that. But I also have a website, Barrel Strength Leadership, all one word
Mhm.
.org, where you can take a look at the what I'm offering, some of the key things that I want to present, as
Mhm.
well as the pictures, and you say, "Oh, that's a place I want to go."
Yeah. Awesome. Well, and for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so that you can go on over, check out the website, and connect with Chris and his team. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show, each and every day, bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Chris, man, really appreciate you coming on the show. It's been a lot of fun.
I appreciate it, Adam, and it's been a great conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time to have me on.